So I did one of the TikTok hypnotist meditations this morning, and I wish I could remember who it was. I didn't save it, but honestly, the meditation that I did had a profound effect on me that I want to share. If you follow me, you know that this kind of thing is right up my alley. I'd never put too much weight or emphasis on the hypnosis on TikTok because those little meditations never really do much for me, except for this one in particular. The topic or the intention behind the meditation was to increase your chances of success by getting rid of limiting beliefs and that feeling of unworthiness. And so here's what it was, if I can recall from the session that I did. It was very brief. First, if you are into meditation, you can close your eyes and then you kind of like look upward internally at your eyebrows for a few minutes, or not minutes, like seconds, and then just relax and then breathe. And the question that was asked was, to look at your life as a timeline and travel back in time and see if you can pinpoint your first memory, whether it was in childhood, whether it was last year, college. She even said before birth, which I don't know what that means, but travel back in time and see if you can pinpoint the moment where you first experienced feelings of unworthiness and kind of recall that whole scene and feeling for maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. For me, I immediately remembered the time that I joined a gymnastics team, and I was new on the team and I didn't have a uniform yet, and so I had to borrow one from somebody, and I think I was in middle school and I didn't love the way my body looked in this leotard, and then I had to go compete, and to say I did terribly was like an understatement. It was like an actual disaster. It was my first time competing, and I compared myself to everybody else on the team. There were a lot of girls that were younger, and I just felt out of my league, and I quit. So then the next question that was asked was, can you recall a moment in time before this where you didn't have those feelings? And for me, I think the reason why this gymnastics experience came up is that the reason why I joined this team to begin with is because I remember being in my backyard and feeling, I don't know whether I had just watched somebody do like a back handspring in person or on television. I just internally had this feeling that I was capable of that. And I asked my mother to find like a legit gym, not like the JCC gymnastics class with like my camp friends, but like a legit gym that could teach me all of these skills and to get on a team. So she found one that was like super far away from where I lived, and I started going to classes there and then was later qualified to be on that team. So there was a time, and I just remember the feeling that I had was that I could do this, I could flip, I could achieve these goals. I felt it inside my body before I actually could do it. And then I went out and I made it happen. And probably within a year of heading towards that goal, I get on this team, I legit qualify. And because of my lack of experience and my feelings of unworthiness and comparison, I stopped myself before I could get to my goal. So then the next question was, why don't you go through the timeline in your life and see if you can locate all the instances in your life where you've had that same unworthy feeling until you get to the present. And for me, there are too many of those instances to count, but it just really unlocked this idea that, the reason why maybe I tend to quit things before I get where I want to be, I get discouraged, or I feel like I don't belong in a lot of these instances, or I feel like maybe the person I really want to attract in my life romantically won't like me back, like just those kinds of things. It's coming from that place in my body that settled in way back then when I didn't feel great about myself and I allowed myself to quit, and I convinced myself it was because I wasn't worthy. And what's interesting about this is that this year in particular, I have, partially through choice and partially through necessity, have tried a lot of new things with my life and my business, new ways of operating and approaching things, literally new avenues and new skill sets and new services or whatever with my business. And I have been actively pushing past those feelings of unworthiness, and I'm about to be hit by a car. I've been actively pushing past it, and that in and of itself is a skill set and a way in which I can help people even more when I do my consulting and coaching with individuals and groups and businesses. So I feel like I'm, on my way to kind of mastering or working my way out of that pattern, breaking the cycle. So I thought I would share it with you for those of you who might find it helpful. And that's it.